What is going on YouTube? Just helping you out here. And in this video, I am going to be unboxing the SLC-130 golf cart bag from today's video sponsor, Ask Echo. If you are interested in one of these bags or any other bag on their website, click the link in the description below to get 10% off your order. Once I have used the bag for a bit of time, I will likely make a review video where I share my experience with it. Alright, let's get right into this unboxing. So as always, I would like to first get started with the packaging, and in this case, we have a generic cardboard box that's more designed for transportation, not so much showing off the product or explaining any of the important features. Now, despite this, there are a few things on the box that are unique to this product, so I'll go over those really quick, and then we'll dive into the box. The top and bottom panels are essentially blank. Two of the long panels have this Ask Echo logo on it, and the other two long panels have a few details about the product. So at the top here, we have the item number. It says the color is gray, and that refers to the colorway of this bag, but there are two other colors that you could get, black and navy. Below that, it says the net weight is 3.8 kilograms, which is almost 8.5 pounds. And below that, we have some dimensions. The actual product itself is 17 inches by 12.5 inches by 36.5 inches. And at the bottom, it says that it was made in China. Now, the last thing that I want to mention about this packaging is that we do have a fragile warning up top, which is nice to see because you want to make sure that your product gets to you without being damaged. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean the shipping people will take care of your package throughout the shipping process, but that warning label certainly can't hurt. All right, so that's enough about the package. Now I'm going to open this thing up so we can talk about the bag. Alright, so as you can see, the bag is also packaged in a plastic bag, so I'm going to go ahead and take that off. Alright, so I've set the packaging off to the side, and now I'm going to stand the bag up so we can first talk about the top, then I'll talk about the four sides, and then finally the bottom. Alright, so here we have the top of the golf bag, and the first thing that I want to point out here is these two rubber handles that we have, one on each side, and these are going to be very helpful for getting the bag onto and off of the golf cart, so you would just grab them here and lift up the golf bag. And these are made out of a soft rubber material that honestly feel pretty comfortable in your hand, so you shouldn't have to worry about this digging into your hands or causing you to get a blister or something like that. And this rubber material is the same thing that we have right here and all right here. And this is pretty much the bread and butter of this golf bag and the main technology that makes these Ask Echo bags unique compared to their competitors. Now you can see here that we have 14 areas for you to put golf clubs here, and then we have a big hole right here that is designed for your putter. Now this hole is on its own and fairly large because some people like to use those super stroke grips that are very, very thick, and this can accommodate for that. Now for these holes up here that are designed for all of your other clubs, these holes do look very small, but each of these individual divided sections has these three segments, and these sort of flex a little bit. So I mentioned this is a soft rubber, but I want to also mention that it does sort of have some properties of a plastic, so it is pretty rigid, and if you notice, I take this away, when I let go, it goes back to its original position. So I kind of expect that these segments will last a while and hold their shape well after a lot of use. Now, Ask Echo designed it like this for a few different reasons. When you put a club into each of these slots, these three segments are really going to grip onto the shaft of the club, and so since it is made out of a softer rubber, it's not going to scratch up your club. Now to add to that, I can't really show it on camera since it's inside the bag, but each of these segments is actually a full-length divider. So not only are there 14 slots here, but each of these slots actually stays completely divided from the others all the way down to the bottom of the bag. So even inside the bag, your clubs aren't going to be rubbing against each other and potentially causing scratches and other forms of damage. And the final thing these are designed to do is keep the bag soundless. So each of these is kind of going to act like a shock absorber. So if you were to shake the bag around, or you can imagine it, when you're in the golf cart and you're driving over the course and there's a lot of bumps and stuff, Normally you hear your clubs clanging together, and so this is to help prevent that. So these are going to sit in here, and it's not going to allow them to move very much, if at all, so they should stay really quiet. Now the final thing that I want to add to this, which again I can't show on camera, is in the bottom of this bag there's grip lock technology. So when you put your club into one of these slots, at the bottom of the bag, down through each divider, there are going to be slots that hold onto the grip of your club. So you have something up top here that grips it, something at the bottom that grips it, and again, that is going to add to that idea that they're trying to avoid your clubs getting damaged and also avoid them making noise when bumped or shaken around or something like that. And to show how well this really works, when you have the bag full of clubs and you shake it around, there isn't really much noise or movement, and I can even flip the bag upside down and you can see the clubs do not come out. Now you may be wondering, does it grip the club too hard that it's kind of a pain to get in and out? And from my initial testing, the answer to that question is no. It seems like there is a good balance between grip and ability to remove and insert the club. The putter slot is also a full length divider, so it does go all the way to the bottom. It still has the grip lock technology down there. So similar to the other clubs, the putter will be gripped well and should not bounce around and make noise either. And similar to the putter slot, all of these slots up here can also accommodate oversized grips. I'm actually really excited for this technology because I personally have had several clubs that have been damaged on the inside of the bag from not being divided up well as various forms of the clubs clanging around against each other. So I am actually super excited to use this bag and give this technology a try. Alright, so I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover on the top. So now I'm going to move the camera down to the front of the bag so we can talk about some of the features there. Alright, so the first thing we have here is a magnetic pocket. So here we have a little pull tab, and if you pull that, you can see that opens up. And I will say that these magnets actually are pretty strong. Like, you have to give this a pretty good tug for it to open. It looks like we have some packaging in here, so I'm just going to take that out. Set that off to the side. And if we dig around in here, looks like we have a little patch, and this is actually what goes on this little Velcro spot right here. So I will do that very quickly. And there we go. But again, as you can see, this is a very strong pocket. This is also for convenience, so if you are going to have something in there like a rangefinder that you're probably going to use several times throughout the round, it could be really annoying to open and close a zipper a bunch of times to have to get it in and out of your bag. Zippers can get stuck sometimes and be a pain, and they also do get damaged and eventually stop working after a lot of use. This is a much more convenient alternative. All you need to do is open it up, put in what you need to, put it back in, close it, and you're done. No issue with the zipper. So it kind of serves a dual purpose here of being a convenient pouch that's easily accessible, but also being secure enough that you don't have to worry about something flying out of the pocket. And given how strong this magnet feels, I'd be absolutely shocked if this came undone while you were on the course. Going along with convenience, pretty much all of the pockets that you would need to be accessing frequently during a round are all on this front side, which, as I mentioned, is the side that would be facing away from the golf cart. So again, just highlighting that this bag was very well thought out with its design. Alright, now over here on the right, it's a little tough to see, but right here we have a little hole for a pen, so you can keep that in here at all times to write down the scores on your scorecard. And while we're over here, you can see that it says cart strap right here, so the cart strap is designed to go behind this pocket through this hole right here. And this brings me to another thing that I really like about this bag, is that all of the cart strap slots are designed in spots where it's not blocking a pocket or any other feature of the bag. I have had multiple bags in the past where I had to orient them a certain way on the cart, or I had to make sure that there were certain features or pockets that I didn't use at all because I knew that the cart strap was going to be covering them when it was on the cart, and trying to get something out of a pocket that's covered by a cart strap is not very easy to do. So it's actually really nice that they kind of thought about that when designing this bag and made sure that the cart strap was going to be effective at holding the bag onto the cart, but also not blocking anything that could be useful. Now, one last thing I want to mention about this magnetic pocket is if you take a look at the top here, there's 9 slots for tees. Alright, so now I've moved the camera down a little bit, and I already mentioned this American flag patch, but if for some reason you don't like it, you can take it off, or you could replace it with any other patch of your choice. Now, just below that, we do have another little pocket here, and you can see it says scorecard, so you would slide that right in here, and that is conveniently placed next to that hole that I mentioned before, where you would have your pen. All right, moving the camera down a little more here, we have our first zipper pocket. And this has a decent bit of storage space in it, so you could put some golf balls in there, maybe some extra tees, something like that. Subtle detail here, but each of these zippers has a little plastic handle on it that says Ask Echo, and it's held on by a little rope. Now just below that, we have another zipper pocket right here that has an Ask Echo logo on it. So if I open that one up, we have a little bit of packaging in this one, so I'll take that out, set that off to the side. And this also has a decent bit of storage space. So again, you could definitely put some golf balls in there or really whatever you would like. Now before we get into the last pocket on this side of the bag, I want to mention that the majority of this bag, including the inside of the pockets that I've mentioned so far, is made out of a high density nylon fabric. Now at the bottom here, we have a large insulated pocket that is going to act like a cooler, as denoted by this snowflake symbol here. So if we open that up, again, we have some packaging in here. And you can see this is the same material that you would find in one of those smaller fabric coolers. And on Ask Echo's website, it says that this pocket can hold 8 to 12 12-ounce cans. Now, one thing you'll need to be aware of here is that the pouch of this pocket up here actually extends into this pocket. So here I can lift it up and you can see that it kind of goes down into that pocket. So if this pocket is full with something, like if this is really bulging, then it may be tough to get the maximum amount of cans into this pocket. It's difficult to see on camera, but this pocket also actually has 2 drain holes, one in each corner at the bottom. And that's just so if you have cold drinks in here and there's condensation, then it'll naturally drain and not just kind of fill up this pocket. Or if you wanted to put some ice in here or a cooler pack of some sort, any sort of liquid that would end up in this pocket will be easily drained out the bottom. I actually think this pouch is a really good idea because a lot of golf courses have signs or rules that you can't bring any outside food, beverage, or coolers or anything like that. And that is just so if you want food or drink or something like that, you have to buy it from the golf course, which can often be a little overpriced and expensive. But this is essentially a cooler in disguise. So I think you could easily get away with bringing some food or a couple of drinks for you and your friends. And I highly doubt a golf course employee or starter would scrutinize your bag and notice that there could be potentially food or drink in there, as opposed to a cooler that would be sitting in the basket of the golf cart and be quite obvious. And in that situation, they would likely tell you that you couldn't bring it on the course. So this is a great way to avoid that. Now, the last thing that I want to mention about this pocket is that this front panel right here actually comes off completely and you can personalize it. So it's actually held on by 2 Velcro pieces right here. So if we take those off, you can now see it's only held on by this zipper here, so you can unzip that, and you can see it comes off completely. So now what you can do here is you can unzip this piece here, and all that does is get this insulated material out of the way. So now what you can do is you can either sew something on here, so maybe your last name, or if you're on a golf team, maybe your team name on there, or a school, or something like that. Or you could heat press something on there and you won't have to worry about damaging the insulated material here. So it's pretty clear that this was very well thought out, as is pretty much everything on this bag. Now just below that cooler pouch, you can see the 2 drainage holes that I was mentioning earlier. And finally, the last thing on this side is this handle right here, which is pretty standard on most golf bags, and that just helps you hold the bag sideways so it's easier to get into and out of a vehicle. All right, so that's pretty much it for this side. So I'm going to turn this bag 90 degrees to the right, and we're going to talk about that side. All right, so now we're looking at the right side of the bag. And the first thing I want to point out here is that we have 2 snaps right here, and those are there so you can snap a hood onto the top of the golf bag to protect your clubs if it's raining. There are also some companies that make a variety of accessories that you can also snap onto those. Now over here on the left, we have a little loop, and that is where you can hang a towel. So if your golf clubs get dirty, you can easily wipe them off with that towel. Right here, we have a little Velcro piece with a hand on it, so you could stick your golf glove to that. Some people don't putt with a golf glove on, so you could take it off, stick it to this, and grab your putter. Or if you just finished up the front 9 and you're going to go inside the clubhouse, you could easily just take off the glove, stick it to this, and have it be right there ready for you when you come back. And this is also attached to a little handle that says Ask Echo on it. Now over here on the right, we have a spot for an umbrella. So you can see the umbrella logo there. And this is just a little band that's held together by Velcro. And if we look a little closer here, there's actually a pocket down here that you would insert the umbrella into, and then you would wrap this strap around it to secure it to your bag. Now, if we move down a little bit on this side of the bag, starting at the top here, we have a zipper that is to a large pouch that goes all the way to the bottom of the bag. And if we open that up, you can see inside here, we actually have that rain hood that I was talking to you about before. So this is going to snap onto the top of your bag to protect your clubs in the rain. Now, just below that, we have the model of this bag. This is the SLC-130. And just below that, we have a dry pocket. And so this is a waterproof pocket that is designed to hold valuables. So things like your phone, your wallet, maybe your car keys. And so if we open that up, it's not a super large pocket, but it could certainly fit the things that I just mentioned, your phone, your wallet, and your keys. And this pocket actually does have a different material in it. This is more of a softer fabric. And I really like that because if you did have your phone in here, this material would certainly not scratch your screen. Now, I may sound like a broken record here, but this is another spot to highlight that this bag is very well designed. So since this is supposed to be a waterproof pocket, they made this piece of the zipper a lot more sealed than any of the other zippers. And you can see the zipper slider here actually gets tucked into a little hood over here to protect that little hole that's usually at the end of a zipper. And the last thing about it is that it's actually at a slant. It's not perfectly horizontal. And so you can imagine if rain was to fall down on this, it's going to hit this and kind of fall at a slant as well. You're not going to get water that collects in here and gets inside that little hole at the end. So again, it really seems like everything with this bag is very well thought out. Now, just below that dry pocket, we do have one more pocket that goes down the full length of the bag. So if we open that up, you can see this does have quite a bit of room, and this is designed to be a garment pocket. So if you want to store something in here like a raincoat, just in case it does rain, this is a good place to do it. And again, one thing to mention, like I mentioned with the cooler pouch earlier, is that the dry pocket does kind of extend down into this pocket. So just something to be aware of when you're thinking about space. Now this pocket does have some branding and design on it, so you can see we have Ask Echo here, and then down here we have a few highlights, just some red stripes and a few stars. Now the last thing that I want to mention about this side of the bag is that there is a cooler bottle sleeve right here. So again, on the inside of that pouch, there is that same cooler insulation material, and that is designed to hold a water bottle, similar to those side pouches on a backpack. And again, that pouch also has a drainage hole right there. So if there is any condensation on the water bottle, or it leaks or spills or whatever, it should drain out of that hole no problem. All right, now I'm going to flip this bag over so we can talk about the other side before we talk about the back. Okay, so here we have the other side of the bag, and I don't intend on spending really much time at all on this side because you may have already noticed it is essentially a mirror image to the other side. The only things that this side doesn't have are the towel loop as well as the pocket and strap to hold an umbrella. Everything else is exactly the same. And I do really like this because if you have your bag in a golf cart and you're golfing with one of your friends, their bag is also going to be in the golf cart. And so one of the sides of this bag is not going to be accessible because your friend's bag is in the way. So this accessibility allows you to use these pockets regardless of whether your bag is on the driver's side of the cart or the passenger side. All right, now let's take a look at the back of the bag. All right, so at the top here, we have a series of tags, and these pretty much just go over a lot of the main functionality and details that I've already discussed. Right here and here, we again have those snaps that are for the rain cover. And just below that, you'll see we have a black strap here and a black strap here. And these are Velcro. And those are designed so that you can strap this bag down to a push cart or an e-trolley so that the bag is more secure and doesn't roll off the cart and get damaged or something. We also have this main strap here, which is designed to be thrown over your shoulder so you can carry the clubs to really wherever you need to. And at each end of that strap, there's these adjusters, so if you don't like the length, you can either shorten it or lengthen it to your liking. It also feels like it has a decent bit of padding in it, so it shouldn't dig into your shoulder or cause any discomfort or anything like that when you're trying to carry your clubs. And we also have a pocket down there, and I'll explain a little bit more about that pocket in a bit since it serves kind of a dual purpose. But the first purpose I want to point out here is that this strap can actually be tucked into that pocket, which I think is cool because if you don't really need this strap and you're just putting it onto a golf cart or you're taking it out of your car or something like that, these straps can kind of dangle and get caught on things and be sort of annoying. So the fact that it could be tucked into a pocket and not do that, I think is actually a very good idea. Now I am going to take that out just so I can show you that this is anchored to more of the middle of the bag. Typically these are anchored a little bit lower, but this one's in the middle, which should be fine. I don't see why there'd be any issue with that. But again, you can see that adjuster that I was talking about earlier. This side has a bit more slack, so you can definitely adjust it better with this side. And now that I have lifted this up, you can see the final handle on this side, which is right here. This again does have a little bit of padding in it, not as much as this one does here, but it does have a little bit. And this just gives you another spot to grab onto if you need to carry the club somewhere. Also in this general area, you'll notice that there's two holes, one right here and one right here. And that is again going to be where the cart strap is going to go through the bag. And just to reiterate, that cart strap channel does not block any pockets or any other useful features that you would need during a round. And now for the other purpose of this pocket, right here it says rain protect cover. So in here, you'll see that we have a full length rain cover. So this is actually big enough that you can fit the entire bag with the clubs into this rain protection cover. And there's also a slot that allows you to put the main strap through so you can still carry the clubs with ease. The cover is held together by zippers and a clip. It is Ask Echo branded, and it also has this little window for an identification card. All right, so that's everything to talk about on the back of the bag. So now let's talk about the bottom. All right, so on the bottom here, you can see we kind of have an interesting design. We have an Ask Echo logo in the middle here. We have sort of like a diamond shape, and then all around here is sort of like a carbon fiber design. So I think that looks pretty cool. And then the main thing that I want to talk about here is the fact that this base is pretty wide, and there's also these 4 feet that are on the 4 corners of the bottom here. And I think that's really important to make sure that this bag stays stable when it's standing up. This should also help the bag be more stable on the golf cart as well. I have had multiple bags in the past where the base was either very unstable or just kind of small, and it made it difficult for the bag to stand up on pretty much any surface, let alone one that maybe isn't perfectly flat, or maybe if it's a bit windy or something. So I am glad to see that this one is likely to be a bit more stable, and I'm interested to see how that plays out. All right, now there's a few final things that I'd like to mention before we wrap up this video, and these are things that I found on Ask Echo's website. So this bag has a total of 12 pockets, and if you do decide to buy one, they do have after-sales support, so they claim that they will give a timely response within 24 hours. There's also online support 24/7. They'll give you a full refund for up to 30 days if the bag is in an unused condition, and they also have a 180-day free repair. And finally, they offer free shipping from East or West Coast warehouses in the United States. All right, so I think that pretty much does it for this unboxing. Big thank you again to Ask Echo for sponsoring this video. If you are interested in this particular bag or any other bag on Ask Echo's website, again, click my link in the description below and you should get 10% off your order. And so that's about it for this video. Feel free to check out all my other unboxing videos in the playlist in the top left corner. If you enjoyed this one, please drop a like, leave a comment if you have any questions or an idea for a future video. Feel free to follow my socials in the description below. And lastly, please don't forget to subscribe and tell your friends about my channel so I can grow and help more of you guys out. I'm just helping you out. See you in the next video.